Welcome back. This is End User 2090. I'm going to be discussing this computer setup I have here. It's kind of crowded. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at organizing my stuff because I'm constantly using these things and they have to be easily accessible. So yeah, my main rig is this Optiplex GX620, and it's hooked up to this Dell 19-inch monitor and some old ass speakers that I had since the first computer I had, which was a 486 computer. And I have this cheapy keyboard, Dynex brand, wireless Logitech mouse, and some other crap in the corner over there. And I have this CRT RCA monitor, or rather television VCR combo, and a couple of disk drives for the Atari 800 XL, which I used to have on this desk last year. And at some point in the near future, I would like to put it back, perhaps put it on some kind of stand, make a wooden stand for it to keep it levitated. And yeah, so let me go ahead and talk to you about some of the stuff going on here. It's quite a lot of things going on, to say the least. This monitor I picked up at Unique. It cost me a whopping $20. I could have got it cheaper at another thrift store, considering the fact that it does have a dead pixel somewhere within this vicinity. And I also got, well, a lot of these things I got from the thrift store, along with this keyboard, which is a USB keyboard, and I got it for $5 with a Dynex mouse, which I'm not using now. And it was brand new in the box. The box was tattered, however the components inside were new. I have a USB hub in the corner here, and from there you can see there's a little dongle for this mouse. The Juster brand speakers that I have here, they have a very notorious reputation for dying out and having inferior sound, but they've lasted through the years, and they sound quite nice, actually, in my humble opinion. And down here we have two towers. We have the Optiplex, which I just discussed, and we have a custom build that I picked up for $10 from Unique. It's running a Pentium 4 socket 478 processor. I'll talk about this on a later video. We got an empty box of Heineken and a bag here which conceals all of the wonderful wires for the Atari, the Dell, and the custom build. But this tower, there's a lot going on in here, and I'd like to talk about it at this time. This computer I found in New York. It was being thrown out, and originally came with a Pentium 4 Hyper-Thread processor and Windows XP. It did not have any kind of optical drive, and it does have a floppy drive though, so that's nice. I believe it still has a plastic which is over these components, some cellophane, if you will. Since then, I've done some serious upgrades to it, which I'd like to discuss at this time. First things first is this DVD drive. It's a DVD RW. I picked this up at Unique for $5, and ironically, well, what happened was it was in an external drive bay, which you hook up via USB and you plug it in through an external power supply. But all that was broken. All I needed was the drive itself. So when I installed it, there was actually pornography inside, and I quickly threw it out. It was scratched anyway. Here are the internals. What we have here is the optical drive I just discussed, and an IDE hard drive that is 500 gigabytes, which is daisy-chained to the IDE DVD drive. The hard drive I picked up at Unique for about 12 bucks. And you can see the BTX form factor, which is a mirrored version of the ATX brand, or ATX standard rather. And what that enables is that the CPU has a massive cooler on it, and it draws air from the front of the machine and sucks it out to the back, which is it's actually a rather nice setup here. The CPU, I've gone ahead and removed the Pentium 4 chip and installed a Pentium D chip running at, I believe, 3.4 gigahertz using the stock cooler that's on this this machine. I have not elected to upgrade it to the copper cooler. From what I heard online, though, is that it does cool way better than the aluminum one that's here already. I've taken the liberty of upgrading the graphics card to the Asus. I believe this is the ATI 6450 Radeon HD. We also have, I believe, a FireWire card for my older FireWire Sony Mini DV camcorder. At one point I did splice into the power supply because I had that USB hub that's on my desk inside of this case, and it needs supplemental power to charge the iPod video that I have, or video iPod. You can barely see the RAM up top, but it's a Corsair, I think it's called an X something 2. It's 4 sticks of the Corsair RAM, and it's 4 gigs respectively. We got 2 hard drives here. The top one is actually a 60 gig Maxtor drive, and the bottom one is a 500 gig Seagate drive that I bought online. It was in state. It was bought in state from some seller on eBay from New Brunswick. Each one of these hard drives has an operating system loaded on it, or rather installed on it. Let's start with this top one. This is Windows 8.1. The top one here is Ubuntu Mate Edition 14.04, and the last drive is Windows 7. Let's go ahead and boot the computer up so you can see what's going on. As you can see, I have a custom menu here for Grub 2.02, and we got the 3 operating systems here. Now, we all know what Windows 8.1 and Windows 7 look like. Let's go into Ubuntu. There it is, end user, with Tux the penguin, the official mascot of Linux. By the way, if you're wondering how I came up with the name end user, there's really no story behind it. It's just a random name and a set of numbers I came up with. I'm going to go ahead and enter my information now. There it goes. Everything is loaded quite nicely. It kind of mirrors a Windows 8 kind of theme, kind of thing going on. Now you're probably thinking, oh, why did he do that? That's so stupid. He's in Linux. Why is he trying to be like a Windows user? Well, truth be known, I just feel a little bit more comfortable in that kind of environment. You know, it just aesthetically it looks nice to me. Here are just some regular icons, kind of crap that you're used to. My Windows 7 hard drive houses most of the files that I use. So you can see my pictures, my music and videos and stuff like that. Gotta love VLC. Takes a long time to load though on this machine for whatever reason. You can see here some of the information regarding this computer. We got 3.4 gigs on the Pentium D, and although there are 4 gigs installed in the memory, only 3.5 are available. That's a hardware limitation, that half a gig is not accessible. Not sure why, if that's because it allocates that toward graphics, although the graphics card has 1 gig already. So yeah, a computer that's like almost 10 years old is indeed my main rig, and it's working quite nicely. So yeah, I use this machine for video editing, some light gaming, and web browsing. It's also used for like uploading content for eBay sales and such. A couple weeks ago I decided to connect my computer to my DJ equipment, my main stereo here in the basement. So in order to do that, I ran a wire from the box down here all the way up through the drop ceiling all the way over to that stuff down there, to my pyramid amp actually, or rather to my mixer, then to the pyramid amp, and outputs to the speakers. This is actually the wire that I used. It's a category 3 phone line. And I got this cheap from Unique. This is what I used. The only problem that I have is that for some reason I think the grounding for this basement is not properly secure, so I get a hum. But when I have the music, you know, on full blast, can't really hear it that much. Anyway, that's just a brief overview of this setup down here, at least regarding the Dell. And I have a handful of other PCs I'll discuss in the near future. Hope you enjoyed the program, and take care. Thanks for watching. Peace.